Let's go to Bridget Ziegler. We had Bridget on. Bridget, in fact, I think at the beginning of the week or over the weekend, you were down. You calculated you were down 3 or 4 thousand potential votes. You were kind of a come from behind. Walk through your race so the nation understands it, and most importantly, I think the entire Sarasota board flipped, which is incredible. So talk to us about what happened.
Waving. I was just waving at the girl. We had Tiffany and April there, so we're all kind of in this fight together. So it's awesome. Again, thanks for having me. Well, first, I want to thank Governor DeSantis for highlighting how important school board elections are, and I know Tiffany mentioned that. He obviously has his education agenda, but realize that local school boards are pivotal in being able to implement that agenda, and we need school board parents that are school board members who are focused on being parents and doing their job. But a lot of people are asleep at the wheel sometimes. And even though it's been covered over the last year and a half, a lot of people didn't know August 23rd, yesterday, was school board election day in Florida. Steve, thank you for giving a shout out to your listeners. We had a huge surge on election day. We know that Democrats are typically strong vote by mail. Republicans typically like to vote day of. We had a pretty strong showing in early voting, but still we're behind about, as you said, 2 or 3 thousand. And on election day, we outperformed a 3-1 when it came to Democrats or Republicans. And I think it's a testament to Governor DeSantis shining a light on it. I think it's a testament to organizations like Moms for Liberty, 1776 Project, and even you, Steve, for highlighting and telling people to get out and vote, because we know people are aware and we know that parents rose up. And again, I cannot speak enough about that, is that this was just an amazing moment for our republic. This shows that the grassroots is where the power is, and that should be where the power is. And that everyone needs to, there's a massive rejection of the woke ideology. People are tired of their kids being exploited for the left's political agenda, and parents rose up. And I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to continue to serve in this aspect. And as Tiffany mentioned, there's a lot of school board members who were elected recently. I've been at this for a while. And we're here to help them, because I can tell you, as someone who's served as a minority on my board for 2 terms, but refused to be captured and drink the Kool-Aid and hold the line, I know where a lot of these new school board members are going to be and how they're going to be feeling and some of those challenges. And so I'll be there working with them in coordination with the Leadership Institute to help train them and help them be strong conservatives that they promised they would be when they ran for election. So to help them transfer from campaign to governing as a conservative.
I want to go to Bridget for a second. By the way, on MSNBC and CNN, we do these clips all day long. It's anti-democracy. These people are anti-democracy. This is democracy, knocking on the doors, meeting your constituents, your other parents, and getting to come out and to vote in what has normally been something nobody ever focused on. Remember, this is not a down ticket race. This is a race nobody ever thought of. It was these moms that made this a thing, right? Because they weren't going to tolerate it anymore. Let's go, Bridget. Tell me how tough it is when you talk about they're coming at you. You're just a mom. You got kids. Next thing you know, you're in the political process. You got to get it. You got to organize, and it's come from behind. It's not going to be the old Democrat stay-at-home mail-in ballot. I've got to get conservatives or people that are game day voters, and they got to get out, and they got to make sure they vote. Walk us through how tough that process is.
It's tough, but something I think all 3 of us had a good comment is that fire in your belly when what's your why, and especially if it's your kids. I mean, you're going to figure out a way to do it, but you do have to have that strategy. And one thing I think is really important for anyone considering to run, don't be shy about hitting these issues head on. So often you see people who run and they want to play in the middle. They don't want to offend anyone. No, these are common sense issues. And I think that is what you see, the common denominator about the winners last night, were people who are willing to take on these issues, not be fearful of what the left's going to throw at you, because they throw all these names because they can't win on issues, as April said. I mean, my opponent, and that's probably the same for everyone, their whole plan was defeat Ziegler for me, and anything. So they're not running for anything. They're running against us. And so we're running for our children, and we're running for our community and for our country. And so when it comes down to it, I think it's really important people be direct and go knock on doors, have those meet and greets. But you got to watch those numbers. You need to know the math behind it. If you're a single member or countywide, these are nonpartisan races. And you can get a sense of where you need to be. I mean, there are political consultants out there as well that help, but Ultimately, it's as many people as you can get in front of, getting your team in place. Like I said, those knocking on doors and having those living room meet and greets, because the media does you no favors. So raising money to be able to get your message out is very important, to counter the narrative that the left and the media all work in cahoots together. I've never seen the level of orchestration. This is my third race. I've never seen the level of orchestration like I did this past round when it came to the press, the elite money, the foundations, and the union slash Democratic Party is pretty remarkable. But I think
hang on. Talk about that for a second. The big foundations, they all come from the elites. The sources, all these elite foundations, the Ford Foundation, all that, in cahoots with the big unions, the teachers' unions, and the local media. They're all working in concert, and they're all working in concert to designate whether it's you, April, Tiffany, whoever it is, whatever mom it is, that you're essentially you're a whack job, you're dangerous, you've got dangerous ideas, and you're just this side of a domestic terrorist. Is that what they try to do?
Absolutely. And what I think, and this is a playbook, as I talk about, it happens in a lot of different areas. And what we found, it was pretty surprising at first, because you think about your foundations, oh, they're wonderful, they're nonprofits, they help support. Well, they also help support a substantial amount of programs inside the school district. And so when you see us pushing back on the woke ideology, which is permeating our school districts, a lot of things actually these are programs these foundations are pushing, and they realize that they're at risk. And so it's important for people to understand you have these elite multi-million-dollar people that are, a select few, that they are not elected. They're not even in the district. They're not even in the system. The district's over leveraged from the money that they accept there, and they're kingmakers. And they work in cahoots with the local media. And you would have op-eds, advertisements, and articles all in one, just slid down together. And it's not by coincidence. And so that's what I'm saying. You're up against this, but the people have had it. And as Tiffany mentioned, and you, this is not partisan. This is common sense. That's why I implore anyone who's talking or thinking about doing this, do step up and do be direct. Don't be afraid of hitting these issues like straight on, because the left, the center, and the right, they don't want this for our children. They do not want this in our schools. They do not want this to be the future. They see where things are going, and they're ready to rise up. And this was a referendum on all the woke elite few that think that they can tell us what we need to think and who we are, or subset us into various categories. That's not what this country is about. That's not what we're about.
The future of this nation was started decided last night. This is Concord Bridge. This is Concord Bridge. Bridget, can you give your social media and how people can contact you if they're so interested and find out more about your victory and more about what you're going to do on the Sarasota School Board now that you guys are in control?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at Bridget A. Ziegler, and that's Ziegler. And same with Facebook. It's Bridget A. Ziegler, Ziegler. I love to hear and help people however I can. Like I said, been at this a long time, and these are huge wins, and we will continue to see that ripple effect. So reach out, follow the stories. What happens in Sarasota, like I said, there's a playbook, and we have that counter playbook. But what happens in Sarasota happens across the state and a country. So look forward to helping.
Thank you very much.